Hi, I'm Dawn Marie Solis with St podcast, and I'm really excited to be here with Nick St Clair and Robert Schmus. Is that how you say it, Schmus?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was looking before we got here, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to ask pronunciations. Nicholas, I see you've got Nikki on the screen. Is that your preference?
You can call me either or. Some people call me Nikki. Some people call me Nick. Either or is okay.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. We kind of found each other through other work. I think, Robert, you and I are connected through, what group are we connected through?
Fish out of water.
Oh, you through Fishnetry. That's right. You are on advisory board on Fishnetry, right? Fishnetry is a nonprofit organization designed to help neurodivergent people. And so that was really cool. We got to meet each other through there. And then you introduced me to Nikki. And we had a great presentation from the two of you on my website, neuroawesomelife.com, that was really well received. The people who attended, the ones that I know personally, got back to me and said they really appreciated it. You are both working your own jobs, but you're also both artists, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
And a lot of neurodivergent people have that creative side that comes out in many different ways. I don't think of myself as an artist per se, but I've got that creative need. I need to be doing something artistic or crafty or something like that. Is that sort of a little bit of how you feel? It's kind of a little bit of a need to express yourself artistically?
My thing is that I say this in my story a lot in my speeches, that when I was in middle school, it was a tool for me to help break the ice to a lot of people that I didn't know. And as the more I kept doing it, the more I had to learn other social skills, like talking about different topics. And that has developed me into a better, more of a social person because of that. And that is one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to come on here and talk about that, especially on YouTube, because there's many other skills other than drawing too. You know what I'm saying? But drawing for me broke the ice for everybody and helped me become a more social person along the way.
That's really cool. Robert, what about you?
Well, for me, doing art was something that I just really enjoyed. I always loved learning about I love learning about art, different art styles, different artists, and it just always fascinated me how that type of creativity is utilized. And I just one day I found an art class, and that just near where I used to live, and that's where I learned how to do different art and just learning from that, and that really helped me to be where I am now. And it was really a way of managing emotions, managing anxiety. It was really something that was so strength based for me.
That's fantastic. Like you said in the beginning, you each have your own professional path. Nikki, do you want to go first? You want to talk about yourself, not just, what you're doing professionally, but whatever it is you want the audience to know about you.
I guess I could say it in a story or so.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can do what do you want me to do? Start to finish as an adult, or?
Well, how about just sort of now in your life? What are you doing for yourself to help take care of you personally, professionally? Yeah.
Well, other than drawing, I've realized how important it was to develop other skills, including networking. And I think networking is one of the best skills that I acquired from drawing. I know you need more than one skill, I need more than just drawing to get around in the real world, because if I was just drawing, I wouldn't be able to make enough money to live. So, of course, the networking skill really helps me a lot making extra money in terms of drawing. What else? Another skill, I mean, I'm trying to think, like public speaking has been a great skill, and I always wanted to do more speeches and stuff. So Robert was always, and by getting to know Robert, he has helped personally. He has helped me out, get to do more speeches. So Robert is I very well appreciate Robert for getting me into doing more speeches. That's for sure. And what else is, I'm working out too. I've started exercising a bit more, working out and getting in better shape to do more work, and eating healthier foods and such. As these are some of the recent skills that I've developed as I started doing this drawing and public speaking thing.
That's
Or journey.
awesome.
Journey is a much better way for me to say it.
Oh my goodness, it is a journey, isn't it? You know, I'll be 56 in May, and I've only understood my neurodivergence since around the time I turned 50. So I've only had not even quite 6 years to get used to myself in reality. So yeah, definitely a journey. Absolutely a journey. I apologize if my noise canceling isn't working quite well. I have 3 dogs that are very excited about the fact that my neighbor is snowblowing. So I have a lot of noise on my end. I hope it's not coming through on your end.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Good. Okay, very good. Is there a job that you're doing right now, Nikki, or are you sticking pretty much to the speaking and the drawing?
I am currently a custodian in the Cherry Hill schools.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's I have a friend since the 7th grade, whose dad was one of my absolute favorite people and helped me feel safe at school. He was the custodian, and he would just very sweetly and kindly look out for all of us, especially those of us who were pretty socially awkward and kind of like this going through the hall. But I've heard many people talk about their fondness and affection for custodians, because they were more than the physical caretakers. They were a very special and needed part of the school community. So
we're a different breed here, you know.
Yeah.
We're overlooked, but overlooked is good in a way, so we can have all the time to give everybody a good benefit, you know.
Yeah.
We do the grunt work, but we make sure they appreciate us, especially
Good.
in my district. I make sure I make them appreciate me, because it is a lot of work, and a lot of it gets overlooked. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and that being capable to show them that you can be appreciated. I think I don't even know if that's a skill within itself, but I mean, it's a pretty good social skill that comes hand in hand.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. Robert, how about you? What's going on with you in your current life?
Well, for me right now, I'm doing, like I said, doing art. I'm also doing speeches. I currently work as a mental health therapist, where I work with various populations, including the autism and neurodivergent population. I do work with them in telehealth. I do a lot of different therapy interventions, like motivational interviewing, CBT, a very strengths based, and that's something I really utilize in my work. That's something I really enjoy doing. It's just something that really I got into it really based on what happened, like when I was younger. Like I was going through a lot in high school, and it's just and and that led me to really want to give back and help with it, especially like within the autism community. And that's something that I really just, it really, so it's a skill that I've gained over the years, and it's just something I really love love doing.
That's amazing and so needed. The neurodivergent community is often so misunderstood in therapeutic environments, especially because the DSM-5 is simply a list of deficits, and deficits that not all of us embody. So we're so often misunderstood, and then therapy is presented to us in a way that either doesn't work or even makes us worse. So I'm thrilled that, Robert, you took on that challenge and you're available to work with autistic and neurodivergent people, because we desperately need that strengths-based approach. Things are hard for us, but we are not a list of deficits.
Absolutely.
My identity is not a deficit.
Exactly.
Could I add something to this as well?
Yeah.
So I forgot to say about, I know we were talking about something other than drawing, but recently I've been, as I sell artwork, I'm beginning to like put away proceeds of my profits and donating to, and I'm beginning to donate to an autism charity, a program that I believe works very well for kids with disabilities, and not just not just like autistics, but we're talking about like neurodivergence and others with disabilities, to make clay and sell it into the market. It's a program called Clay at Work, and it's a program made by Say It with Clay. It's like a clay studio, and it gets all the neurodivergents in to make clay. And
That's
that
awesome.
program
That's
gives them
awesome.
12 weeks to give them free studio time to make their inventory, and 12 weeks to learn it all. Like learn the market, learn how to socialize with people, learn how to make a transaction, learn how to, do your business, learn how to make the ceramics. I mean, we're talking about some good stuff here. I mean,
Yeah.
and I believe that but that's one of the charities that I'm donating to right now. And I'm very proud of it because I know that it's going to put them in society in a good way.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that.
Yeah, that's awesome, Nick. That's
And
awesome.
that's what I'm want to continue to do to other programs or charities that help people with autism, get them into society. That's what I believe that I want to do, because it not only gives them the best social skills, it helps them become a part of society. It helps them live, it helps them make money to live, and it helps them, like I said, it helps them, help people in society too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing.
No problem. And I want to do more.
So when you gave the talk on my website a few months ago, I learned that you two give talks to all kinds of different organizations and about what it is to be an autistic person. Can you share a little bit about that? What it is you do and how somebody might get in touch with you if they'd like a presentation from you?
Yeah. So we have a site. I can like I'll email it to you, Dawn,
Yeah.
and it just tells about like what we do and how to contact us. It has both my email and Nick's email, and it just tells us like, and explains like what we do, what we talk about, and how like what we how to help neurodivergents advocate for themselves. And it's just and that we also include like certain videos that we've done of those talks, and both what talks Nick did, what I did, and it's something that, and I can put it, I can send it to you, Dawn, after the video, email to you the site, and it's just,
That's great. And I'll make sure that the information is available to anybody who watches this or listens to it.
Absolutely, and we got some content too for you guys to keep you guys on the site. So whether it's like I said, whether it's videos of myself, Robert, or both of us, we got some videos for you guys to watch to show what we're about.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, in thinking about how art kind of helps us, whether it's, managing our emotions or expressing our inner selves. Nikki, you even said that it helped you learn social skills, as you shared. But I've also had the experience with academic art. And what I mean by that is people who've been trained in a formal setting getting really grumpy with me. You're not an artist, you're not a photographer, you're not, right? Like if you don't have specific training, there's this culture that says, well, you're not invited. And I don't have that mentality. I kind of feel like you mentioned your nonprofit that you're donating to, they work with clay. I really love polymer clay. I like that I can make something, I can put it in the oven, and then it's hard and it stays there. I like sculpting. I do nothing that's difficult, but I really enjoy it. And I don't want somebody just telling me, well, you don't do enough, so you can't think of yourself as creative. You can't think of yourself as an artist. What do you two think about that? Because I think there are a lot of neurodivergent people who want to be creative, but they get really negative feedback because they're not professional or they don't have the skills that somebody like you two might have.
Well, one thing I would have to say is, like, don't let that deter you. Like, you know who you are. You know who you are. You know what you want to do and what you love. Like, those people's telling you, oh, but you're not an artist, you're not such and such. They don't know who you are. You know who you are. And you know what you want to do and what you feel makes you who you are and what you feel can help you.
I feel like there's a spectrum in this, and obviously, like to concur what you say, Robert. I mean, to tell someone that you're not an artist because you've made, like, listen, there's all types of art and stuff like that, but there's also critiques as well to make your art better. I think it's up to us to recognize the difference between criticism and useless criticism, because you can't avoid criticism, but you can definitely avoid useless criticism by saying you're not an artist.
I love that. I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm at the age where I believe that there are so many forms of, like, I don't want to just say bullying, but some people bully to correct people's behaviors. Some people bully to correct, for correctional purposes, not to just like bully someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've been picked on before, and I've had friends that pick on me just to make me better. And I'm beginning to realize that as I age, because, like I said, the bullying in general is not going to go away. But if I think of it in many different ways rather than just in one way, by being multidimensional about it, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to as a kid.
Yeah, that's a really good thought. Yeah, because the bullying or the useless criticism, it doesn't stop. It shows up all the time. And for somebody like me, I struggle mightily with rejection sensitivity. So somebody telling me I'm not something, it can get in my head. And I know that there are other autistic and neurodivergent people that feel that way. They get 100 wonderful comments and one negative comment, and their head is going to stick with that negative comment.
Hey, it's like that. It's like
Yeah.
that.
So I love what you said, Nikki, about the difference between, either sort of, it's criticism, right? Or maybe
I
a
think
really
that
good
thought
critique.
itself has helped me become more desensitized by negative comments and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people's delivery is lousy, but their point is valid, right? And sometimes people are just being jerks. And to be able to know the difference, that's a great skill.
It's a hell of a capability, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, it's what happens when you get picked on all the time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But but like I said, I'm becoming more desensitized by this type of stuff. You know, all you got to do is just keep focusing on yourself. But I would say for starters, and what started me out as an artist, like a legitimate artist in the market, is that I had a series first. I just first created a series that dedicated to myself. I got it out to the libraries, and from there on out, I started becoming more capable of sales, marketing, and networking all in 1 year.
That's amazing. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Robert, you sort of started us off with don't listen to people who tell you you're not something. Right. And I think that goes for anything somebody's trying to accomplish. Uh, we all love the story of the person who persevered, didn't listen to the naysayers, and but sometimes I think those stories create in our minds something maybe bigger than we might achieve, and we don't know how to enjoy the smaller achievements. You both had a journey to becoming artists that people would actually purchase what you create. How did you keep yourself going? How did you keep the stamina up to, well, nothing selling, nothing selling. Oh, somebody bought something, right? How did you keep yourselves going, Robert, if you want to start off with that?
Well, for me, what kept me going is just, the love of me doing the art, my
Mhm.
love of art, like really continuing to do that art. Because, yeah, there were times in which, I, I would not even, like, sometimes things wouldn't sell, even in, like, I've been in galleries, and you know what, I guess just knowing that I have to keep going. I can't quit because I've gone so far. I've come so far.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be some bumps in the road, and there are going to be things I should improve on and learn from, and everything's a life lesson, a, a, a and something to learn from and to
Mhm.
build on. Just that type of mentality has helped me to continue.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Nikki, what about you?
About
Persevering. How did you get yourself to keep going when maybe accomplishments might have seemed small?
well, I knew my autism posters. I call them a lot, and autism posters are basically like I just draw like a logo on it or something of of a team or anything that represents that. Well, the reasons why I put the team, like the base, like for example, the baseball teams on there is because the baseball teams support, autism awareness, like they have by having
Mhm.
their game nights. Like the Phillies have their game night this year against the Dodgers on April 4th, and that's an autism game night. So
That's
that's like one of
awesome.
the
I love
reasons why I
that.
put those teams on there. But those logos will have puzzle pieces surrounded by that logo, and diagonally will be each color. So the Phillies will be red and blue, red, silver,
Yeah.
all across diagonally. And that's how I made the autism poster. And I made all the 29 other teams and made it the World Series of Autism. And I just continued just when I knew it was when I knew that my series was becoming and the story behind it became successful, I just had to keep going for it.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things I struggle with persistently is that, you know, there are some like harm, you know, I like going out a lot with my friends. I like, excuse me, sitting in the house relaxing a lot. I like, you know, I eat fast foods a lot. So, I mean, these types of addictions could kill my energy of persistence. And I think that's currently what I'm struggling on right now. I mean, I got to be honest with myself. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I haven't been drawing that much as I have been in the past few years because, you know, these. And another thing is to focus on a bunch of different things too. Like I told you before, I mean, I've been doing exercising and doing like, and I've been doing like, you know, focusing on exercise and focusing on like maybe cooking as well. I mean, cooking, I mean, teaching myself how to cook and such. He's all within itself takes commitment, and then I start drifting my focus from drawing into other things. So I think those are certain, but I still keep persevering. So I still keep persevering by just doing a little bits of it here and there and such. But
I think that's a
now,
really good approach too, Nikki. Sometimes we think we have to put all of our energy into one thing. I'm also ADHD, so I hyper focus with the best of them. But learning how to do a little bit of each thing has been helpful to me.
I mean, it has. I mean, I'm still doing drawing, and you know what? Like I said, I mean, it helps me out a lot better to do that. But like I said, there's also some vices that I'm going through too. So that holds me back too. You know, I mean, I like to draw, but I got to be honest with myself. I mean, I'm focusing on a bunch of different things to where people on the outside look at me and say, "Well, no, you're not an you're not an artist because you're not drawing every day." You know, that could give somebody a reason to say that. But
Yeah.
you know,
Drawing every day
at the
doesn't
end of the
make
day,
for
I just don't care.
sorry to speak over you.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I have a number of people in my life who struggle with borderline personality disorder, and them being able to establish a sense of identity is really important, and having those naysayers come in and tell them what they're not, right? Like, just like you just said, Nikki, people think you're not an artist if you're not drawing every day. Absolutely not true. That is a fiction. I'm a writer. I don't write every day. I don't. Some days nothing comes. And then some days I write 3 different pieces. So it just, you know, writing is more of my structured creativity, where doing my polymer clay, or I have gel pens and markers, and I'll just simply color in an adult coloring book, right? Those are my expressions. And no, I'm not trying to sell that stuff, but it's my artistic expression. And I'd really like people to just leave me alone about it. I don't have to meet somebody else's standard for those things to be useful in my life. You don't have to draw every day to truly claim your identity as an artist because you are one.
That is very appreciated. You know, I mean, I'm sure that writers, I mean, have probably had a very sporadic period of drawing because, you know, maybe they were going through something, or like I said, you know, maybe I'm just indulging in my own vices and addictions. And thank God I'm not addicted to drugs or anything like that.
Right.
But there's foods that I get addicted to, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, I smoke pot, so I mean that gets in the way. There's also, you know, like I said, you're going out with your friends, you're drinking and stuff. So I mean, that kind of holds me. It's like everything starts with a decision. When I decide to do that, you know, it takes away some of the credibility. But I'm glad to know that I don't have to really draw every day to consider myself an artist.
No, I mean, that's some people's process. They do their art every day a little bit. But even folks who are like that aren't producing completed works every day for the most part. I mean, some people do, but that's kind of exceptional. Robert, what are you thinking as we chat about this?
I think, one thing that you did point out is it's like some days things don't come to you. And you know what? That happens. That happens. And like when things come to you, that's when you get that urge to write. Like if you just think that, oh, I have to write every day. Well, what if nothing comes to you that day? Then you're just going to keep having writer's block. But when things come to you, that's when the time you write. And that can happen anytime. It doesn't have to be every day. Same thing goes with art,
Yeah, inspiration is going to come when it comes.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I do think there's something to be said for not letting your creativity get stale, sort of. So like I notice I'm autistic, and an autistic brain loves pattern, right? We really do. We love, okay, if this happens, and then this happens, and we love it. We're like, we can predict it, we can count on it. And I think for some of us autistic folks, that deep connection to pattern can be a negative, right? Well, I didn't write today, and tomorrow I don't write, and the next day I don't write, and now I'm a non-writer because my autistic brain has gone, oh, we see a pattern. Let's follow the pattern. And sometimes I have to just like pull on all of the energy I have and say, okay, I'm not going to write for my Substack or my Reddit. I'm just going to write something because my brain is starting to think I'm a non-writer because I've gotten into a pattern of not writing. So I do think there's something to be said. Nikki, you're talking about some of these things that are chunking away your time where you would do art. Sometimes we have to pull on all of our energy and say, okay, all you things that are talking to me and wanting my attention, you got to sit over there and be quiet because I'm going to do my thing so that my brain doesn't mistake me not doing it repeatedly as I no longer do that. Because as autistic people, we can fall into patterns. It's like the food thing. 3 years ago, well, the reason why I'm launching my podcast on March 6th is it's the day I got hit 3 years ago by a car and caused a number of disabilities. I've recently found out that one of the things the car accident caused was my digestion has almost stopped. My body doesn't digest food. It just sits there, and I ended up in the hospital for a week. I'm having to learn an entirely new way of eating, and oh my goodness, am I resistant to it. My safe foods are not part of what I'm supposed to eat. The things that, like, it's amazing to me the battle I'm having trying to change my eating because my brain is like, no, we have a way we eat. There's a way we eat. We know we like it. We know it's safe. This is what we do. But almost all of those things, I'm not supposed to be eating anymore. And it makes me want to just sit there and not eat or eat everything I'm not supposed to eat in abundance. And I think when we have brains that tell us, it can only be this way, breaking out of those patterns can be so difficult. And so when it comes to things like my writing, your art, other things in our lives where we really want to keep them, sometimes we have to go into it almost like screaming, like, I'm gonna write today, I'm gonna draw today, and nothing else can tell me differently. So that we don't get in those patterns of behavior that then take away the things that would be well for us, that we enjoy. What do you think about that?
I like the fact that, I mean, it happens to all of us, to the three of us for sure. I'm thinking right now, like I said earlier, about being multidimensional on a different topics. Like I mentioned earlier about bullying. If I become multidimensional about what I eat, like I said, changing my eating patterns, eating something different, I think would help me to break that cycle my brain's telling me about eating. Trying to so hard to think about multi-dimensional, things in many different topics. The way I get, like let's say the way I get my driver's license, you don't have to just go take a class. You could take a driver's course or something. You could take a driver's course. You could take what is it, like the I'm trying to think, in Jersey, they had like a 6 months behind the wheel, or you could go to like the driver's school and get your license earlier. That's like multidimensional.
Yeah.
There's like different ways to networking with people, different ways to like do pretty much everything. So if I try to think of something, different that's out of my routine that I want to do, and I end up doing it, and makes me feel a lot better because I'm not, I feel a lot better because I don't feel content. I don't feel the same. I don't feel like kind of bored and lazy because I'm all I know is that,
Yeah.
I'm too
You feel
used.
less stuck. Is that accurate? You feel less stuck?
It makes me feel less stuck too because I'm doing something different and
Yeah.
I'm capable of doing it now, and I
Yeah.
know what it takes to get it.
That's awesome. What do you think, Robert?
I have to honestly agree with Nick on that. Just it what you need to take to get to it.
Yeah, and I think especially for autistic people, especially the more we are sort of solidly autistic instead of, I call it multi-divergent, right? Like I'm 6 different types of neurodivergent. I think sometimes the more we're in just our autistic self, we can feel a little trapped by it. Something new comes along and our brain and our body is very resistant. And when we can work and overcome that resistance, we feel a little bit liberated. It's an achievement, it's an accomplishment, and we're not so tied. And that doesn't mean we have to push ourselves way outside our comfort zone. But when there's a health need, when there's a productivity need, things like that, we do need to find that multidimensional approach that works for us. So I really like that.
What I also find, I was gonna say, what I also find is that when people introduce me to new things or new ideas or thoughts or perspectives, I always wonder why they and not just why are they thinking this way, why are they doing this and that stuff. It's why are they doing it to better themselves? Like how does it better me? How does it better myself? Like, why is it going to better me or whatever? I try to think, if why does such a perspective exist is my ultimate question.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I also agree. Like, why does this exist? And what's it doing to help motivate me?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we've just got a few minutes left. Is there anything in particular you hoped you'd be able to share with this audience? And I think maybe one or both of you might have brought a piece of art with you if you'd like to show that as well.
I do. It's in my house.
Yay.
It's in my house. I have a piece of artwork here I'm going to bring out here. And this is what I call the autism poster for the United States Marines. It's one of my posters that I'm selling at the vendor gigs and stuff, because currently I'm doing vendor gigs, and I got a vendor gig coming up in August in Echo.
Nice.
But let me see if I could turn this camera. This is my piece.
Nice.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
That's
This
amazing.
is an example of one of my pieces.
That's beautiful.
the United States Marine Corps. And let me see if I can bring another piece in as well. I can show you another piece. This one is a poster for the United States Navy. This one's a good one too. I made like a little series to, like I said, this one's also for sale as well. This is the autism poster for the United States Navy.
Nice.
Beautiful. That's fantastic.
That's amazing, man.
So if anybody you know wants a poster or a commission, I also do commissions as well. I'm more than willing to send you a email my business card and we can get started.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing those.
No, it's an honor. It's an honor.
Thanks, Nick.
Robert, no, it's been great, Robert. It has been great.
Has been definitely.
Well, I'm really grateful to the both of you for making the time for me and sharing your thoughts, sharing yourselves with this audience. I hope we will talk again soon. I know there's so much more that you two have available to share.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to more opportunities, Dawn. That's what we're here for. This is how we're gonna get to everybody.
That's right.
More
Absolutely.
opportunities, the merrier.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank you both.
No problem.